Ever hear a car engine roar so loud it feels like it's shaking your bones? That's the sound of raw American power from the muscle car era. In the 1960s and 70s, Detroit was pumping out machines that didn't just move, they dominated. These cars weren't just fast, they had attitude, style, and serious horsepower. If you're a car enthusiast, you've probably dreamed of driving one of these legends. But what makes a muscle car truly iconic? Today, we're diving into the greatest muscle car legends from that golden era. We're talking big blocks, burnouts, and beautiful steel beasts. By the end of this video, you'll know which classics defined American muscle. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and get ready to go full throttle through history. Let's start with where it all began. The original king of the muscle car hill. In 1964, Pontiac released a car that changed everything, the Pontiac GTO. They took a mid-size car, stuffed in a massive V8, and created a performance icon. It wasn't just about speed, it was about rebellion and youth culture. The GTO kick-started the muscle car movement and gave rise to a horsepower war. Soon, Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge, and others jumped in with their own powerful machines. It became a game of who could build the fastest, loudest, and meanest-looking car. Drag strips, highways, and even grocery store parking lots became battlefields. The muscle car wasn't just a vehicle, it was a lifestyle. It represented freedom, rebellion, and the thrill of the open road. And the public couldn't get enough. But the GTO was only the beginning. One of the most feared and revered muscle cars of the 60s was the Dodge Charger, especially the 1969 Charger R/T, which became a pop culture icon thanks to the Dukes of Hazzard. Under the hood, you could find a 426 Hemi, a beast of an engine with serious bite. This engine alone made the Charger a menace on the quarter mile. Its long, sleek fastback design gave it unmistakable street presence. It looked aggressive even when it was standing still. It wasn't just about looks. The Charger could back it up with performance. It was also a NASCAR hero, dominating tracks across America. The Charger Daytona, with its huge rear wing and pointed nose, pushed the limits of speed and design. For many, the Charger was the perfect blend of style and muscle. And it's still a top-tier collector's car today. You can't talk about muscle cars without mentioning the Shelby GT500. While the Ford Mustang started as a stylish pony car, Carroll Shelby took it to another level. The GT500 was born to race, with serious upgrades in power, suspension, and attitude. The 1967 GT500 packed a 428 cubic inch V8 under the hood. That translated to over 355 horsepower and plenty of tire-smoking torque. It had racing stripes, scoops, and a growl that could wake the dead. Shelby's vision was to turn the Mustang into a true performance monster. And he did just that, with cars that could take on Corvettes and win. Collectors today pay big bucks for original GT500s, especially the Eleanor spec. It's not just a car, it's a piece of American racing history. And Carroll Shelby? He became a legend in his own right. Chevy didn't sit back while Ford and Dodge had all the fun. The Chevelle SS454 came in swinging with one of the biggest engines of the era. At 450 horsepower, it was a street-legal missile. It looked like a family car until you hit the gas. Meanwhile, the Camaro Z/28 was the lightweight, corner-carving rebel. It was built for Trans Am racing and had a high-revving 302 V8. It might not have had the torque of a big block, but it could handle like a dream. Together, the Chevelle and Camaro gave Chevy fans two great flavors of performance. One for straight-line dominance, the other for agile, road course fun. They're both legends, and their legacy lives on in today's SS and ZL1 models. Chevy knew how to make muscle, and these two proved it. Over at Plymouth, they had their own muscle madness going on. The Roadrunner was all about budget performance, pure speed with no frills. It was affordable, fast, and even had a beep-beep horn like the cartoon. The 1970 Roadrunner Superbird took things to another level. With its huge wing and aerodynamic nose, it was built for NASCAR. It was also rare, and now it's insanely valuable. On the other hand, the Plymouth Barracuda, especially the 70 to 71 CUDA, was a showstopper. It had massive engines like the 426 Hemi and came in bold colors. Its aggressive design and raw power made it a street legend. Today, the CUDA is one of the most sought-after muscle cars in the world. It's a reminder that Plymouth knew how to bring the heat. The muscle car era hit its peak in the early 70s. Horsepower numbers were off the charts, and the cars looked wilder than ever. But trouble was coming, and it hit fast. Rising insurance costs, new emission standards, and the oil crisis changed everything. Suddenly, big engines became a liability, not a selling point. Muscle cars were either detuned or killed off entirely. By the mid-70s, the glory days were fading. It was the end of an era, but not the end of the passion. Fans kept the flame alive through restoration, racing, and collecting. Muscle cars became legends, frozen in time. And their story wasn't over yet. Even after production slowed, muscle cars stayed front and center in pop culture. Movies like Bullet, Vanishing Point, and Smokey and the Bandit made them eternal stars. TV shows gave us heroes who drove loud, fast cars, and never looked back. Video games let new generations experience muscle car madness virtually. They became symbols of freedom, rebellion, and pure Americana. Even the Fast and Furious franchise paid homage to classics like the Dodge Charger. Die-cast models, posters, and tattoos keep their images alive everywhere. Music videos, commercials, and even fashion have borrowed muscle car style. They're more than cars, they're icons. You don't have to drive one to love them. But once you do, it's hard to love anything else. So what separates a good muscle car from a legendary one? It's not just about power, it's about presence. A legendary car has a story, a following, and a legacy. It's the one people remember from their childhood. The one that dominated racetracks or movie screens. It's a mix of performance, rarity, design, and emotion. When a car makes your heart race before the engine even starts, that's legendary. The GTO, Charger, Shelby GT 500, Chevelle, Cuda, they've all earned their place. They were built in a time when performance came before politics, and their names are etched into automotive history forever. That's what makes them legends. So now you know some of the biggest muscle car legends of the 60s and 70s. Cars that weren't just built, they were born to dominate. They told stories, made noise, and left rubber on every road they touched. Even today, their designs influence modern performance vehicles. But here's the question, which one would you want? In your garage? Would you go for the brute force of the Chevelle SS or the nimble aggression of AZ/28? Would you cruise in a Charger or unleash a Hemi Cuda? Drop your dream car in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. And if you enjoyed this blast through muscle car history, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll keep bringing you the loudest, fastest, and most iconic stories in automotive history. Thanks for riding with us. Now go burn some rubber.